Hello, and welcome. Have you ever stood in the milk aisle at the grocery store and just felt overwhelmed? On one side, you have the dairy milk you grew up with, whole, 2% skim. And on the other, a whole new world has exploded. Almond, soy, oat, pea, coconut. It's enough to make your head spin. And here's something most people don't realize. As we get older, our bodies actually need more of certain key nutrients to stay strong. The National Institute on Aging points out that our need for things like protein, calcium, and vitamin D doesn't go down. It often goes up, especially after 60. The secret isn't finding the one magic milk that's best for everyone. The real secret, the one we're going to unlock today, is learning how to find the perfect milk for your body and your health goals. And if you've been telling yourself, well, a little muscle loss, a few more aches, that's just part of getting older, I'm here today to respectfully challenge that idea. The choices you make in this very aisle can be a powerful tool to help you maintain your strength and your independence for years to come. In the next 25 minutes, we are going on a deep dive. We're going to walk through the 10 most important factors to consider when you're choosing a milk. By the end of this video, you'll be able to walk into that grocery store with confidence, knowing exactly what to look for to support your health, your vitality, and your control over your own well-being. The problem is simple. The information out there is confusing. One article says dairy is great, another says it's terrible. Plant milks are trendy, but are they actually good for you? Our ambitious goal today is to cut through all that noise. We're going to give you a clear, science-backed roadmap to navigate the milk aisle with your specific needs in mind. To do this, we'll be drawing on research and guidelines from some of the most trusted institutions in the country, including the Mayo Clinic, Johns Hopkins Medicine, and the U.S. National Institute on Aging. These organizations have spent decades studying how our nutritional needs change as we age, and their wisdom can help us make smarter choices. Here's how we're going to do it. We're going to count down the top 10 factors to consider when choosing a milk, starting with number 10 and working our way down to the most important factor at number 1. For each one, we'll talk about the simple science behind it, share a story to make it stick, and give you a clear, practical action step. This structure will help you build a personal checklist for your next shopping trip. And you'll definitely want to stick around for our top 3. These are the true game changers that can have a profound impact on your bone strength, your muscle mass, and your overall energy levels. In fact, number 2 is a nutrient combination that the National Osteoporosis Foundation calls absolutely essential for preventing fractures. And a quick but important reminder, I am not a doctor. This video is for informational and educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. The goal here is to empower you with information so you can have more informed conversations with your personal physician about what's right for you. So grab a cup of coffee or tea, get comfortable, and let's begin our journey down the milk aisle. All right, let's kick off our countdown. Coming in at number 10 is a sneaky trap that can turn a healthy choice into a not-so-healthy one. The empty calorie trap of sweetened and flavored milks. The science behind this is straightforward. Every spoonful of sugar you consume is a missed opportunity to get the protein or calcium your body is asking for. I think of my friend Carol. She switched to vanilla almond milk, thinking she was making a healthier choice. She was unknowingly drinking a sugary beverage with her morning coffee every single day, working against her own goals. So your action step here is simple and powerful. Become a label detective. The next time you pick up any carton of milk, whether it's dairy or plant-based, flip it over and look at the nutrition facts panel. Find the line that says added sugars. Your goal should be to choose a milk with 0 or as close to 0 grams of added sugar as possible. This means always looking for the word unsweetened on the front of plant milk cartons. Now, it's important to mention, If you are actively managing diabetes or have been told by your doctor to watch your blood sugar, avoiding added sugars isn't just a good idea, it's essential. If you notice your blood sugar levels are difficult to control, it's a great time to review everything you eat and drink, including your milk, with your doctor or a registered dietitian. So we've covered what's added to milk that can be a problem. But what about the natural components of milk itself? That brings us directly to our next factor, which is all about fat. Coming in at number 9 is a topic that's been debated for decades, the saturated fat question. This applies mainly to whole dairy milk and certain high-fat plant-based milks, especially full-fat coconut milk from a can. I remember my Uncle Frank, who just loved the taste of whole milk. But at his annual checkup, his doctor noted that his cholesterol was starting to creep up into a concerning range. Switching to a lower-fat milk was one of the easiest changes Frank could make to take control of his heart health. The action step here is about balance and moderation. For your daily drinking, choose low-fat 1% or fat-free skim milk. If you love the richness of whole milk or full-fat coconut milk for cooking or as a special treat, think of it as a sometimes food rather than an everyday staple. Of course, if you have a personal or family history of heart disease, high blood pressure, or high cholesterol, this factor moves way up the list of importance for you. This is a crucial conversation to have with your healthcare provider. Limiting saturated fat is a key defensive move for our health. But what about offense? What about the nutrients we absolutely need to get more of? That leads us straight to a major pitfall at number 8. This brings us to number 8, and it's a huge one that many people overlook: the low-protein pitfall. This is where some of the most popular and heavily marketed plant-based milks, specifically almond milk and rice milk, can seriously let you down. As we age, every single one of us experiences a natural, gradual decline in muscle mass and strength. It's a medical condition with a name: sarcopenia. You can think of it as osteoporosis for your muscles. This loss of muscle is a primary driver of frailty, falls, and a loss of independence in later life. The number one weapon we have to fight back against sarcopenia is protein. Now let's look at the numbers, because they tell a powerful story. A cup of dairy milk or soy milk provides about 8 grams of high-quality protein, but a cup of unsweetened almond milk, just 1 gram, and rice milk often has even less, sometimes under a single gram. I remember my own father, a man named Bob. He switched to almond milk because he heard it was healthier and would help him watch his weight. Around the same time, he started complaining that he felt weaker. He had a harder time opening jars, carrying in the groceries, or getting up from his favorite armchair. He didn't connect the dots until we sat down and looked at his diet. He had unknowingly cut out a major source of his daily protein, and that was contributing directly to his feeling of weakness. It was sarcopenia in action. Your action step here is to make protein a priority. When you're choosing a milk for daily use, aim for one that provides at least 7 to 8 grams of protein per 1 cup serving. This makes dairy milk, soy milk, and another powerful option we'll discuss later, pea milk, excellent choices. If you truly love the taste of almond or rice milk, that's okay. But think of it as a treat, not as your nutritional workhorse. And be sure you're making up for that missing protein with other foods like lean meats, fish, eggs, beans, and Greek yogurt. If you've noticed a real decline in your strength, if you're experiencing falls, or if you're losing weight without trying, these are significant red flags for sarcopenia. It is absolutely time to talk to your doctor. They can assess your muscle health and nutritional status, and help you create a comprehensive plan to get back on track. So protein is a non-negotiable for strength. But what about the other nutrients that are famously associated with milk? That brings us to number 7, and the invisible gamble you might be taking without even realizing it. At number 7, we have the fortification gamble. This is the invisible difference between a plant-based milk that's a true nutritional powerhouse and one that's little more than flavored water. Here's the simple science. Cow's milk is naturally rich in calcium. A fortified version of that same milk can be engineered to have even more calcium and vitamin D than a glass of dairy milk. This means that for plant milks, fortified isn't just a bonus feature, it's the main event. A woman in our community, let's call her Susan, was very health conscious. She started buying a special organic oat milk from a local health food store. When she went for her regular bone density scan, her doctor was concerned about a decline. The artisanal, all-natural oat milk she was so proud of was not fortified. This is another mission for your label detective skills. When you pick up a carton of plant-based milk, turn it over to the nutrition panel. Look for calcium and vitamin D. A great target to aim for is a milk that provides at least 25% of your daily value, or DV, for calcium, and at least 15 to 20% of your DV for vitamin D per serving. The word fortified on the package is your friend. Now, if you've already been diagnosed with osteopenia or osteoporosis, or if you have a history of fractures, choosing a fortified milk is not optional. It's critical. This is a vital topic to discuss with your doctor to ensure that your entire diet, including your milk, is optimized to protect your bones. Making sure your milk is fortified is a smart move. But what if the problem isn't the milk's nutrition, but how your own body handles it? That's what we're tackling next at number 6. We've arrived at number 6, and it's an issue that affects a huge number of us as we get older, sometimes taking us completely by surprise: the lactose hurdle. Lactose is the natural sugar found in all dairy milk. When you don't have enough lactase, it passes undigested into your colon. There, bacteria begin to ferment it, which is what causes those classic uncomfortable symptoms: gas, bloating, stomach cramps, and sometimes diarrhea. My neighbor, Dill, was convinced he had developed a serious stomach problem. Every morning after he had his cereal with milk, he'd feel bloated and uncomfortable for hours. Bill tried a lactose-free dairy milk, and he said it was a complete revelation. He got all the taste and the powerful nutrition of real milk with absolutely none of the discomfort. This is so important because many people, when they develop these symptoms, think they need to give up dairy entirely. But often, the problem isn't dairy, it's the lactose. So your action step is to explore the excellent solutions available today. First, you can try lactose-free cow's milk. Second, this is where all the plant-based milks we've been discussing are naturally a great fit, because they are 100% lactose-free by nature. It's crucial, however, not to self-diagnose if your symptoms are severe. While gas and bloating after dairy are classic signs of lactose intolerance, if you are also experiencing things like unintentional weight loss, persistent or severe diarrhea, or blood in your stool, these can be red flags for more serious conditions like celiac disease or inflammatory bowel disease. In that case, it's very important to see your doctor to get a proper diagnosis. Overcoming the lactose hurdle opens up a world of possibilities. Now that we're at the halfway point, let's take a quick breath and get ready for our top 5. Okay, let's pause for a moment. We are halfway through our countdown. We've talked about avoiding the empty calorie trap of sugary milks, being mindful of saturated fat, steering clear of the low-protein pitfall of certain plant milks, making sure our choice is properly fortified with calcium and vitamin D, and finally, navigating the very common lactose hurdle. The common thread through all of these points is that knowledge is power. It's about looking beyond the flashy marketing on the front of the carton and understanding what your body truly needs by reading the label on the back. Are you ready for the top 5? This is where we shift from avoiding the worsts to actively choosing the bests, the milks that are true champions for senior health. And by the way, if you're finding this information helpful and empowering, do me a quick favor and tap that like button below. It's a small click for you, but it really helps our channel reach and support more people just like you. Thank you so much for that. Now, on to our top 5. All right, kicking off our top 5 is factor number 5, finding the heart helper milks. This is about choosing a milk that doesn't just avoid harming your heart, but actively supports your entire cardiovascular system. We've already talked about the defensive side of heart health, limiting saturated fat. But the other side of that coin, the offensive strategy, is getting enough potassium. Potassium is a crucial mineral that plays a vital role in managing blood pressure. It works by helping to counterbalance the effects of sodium in our bodies. As we get older, our bodies can become more sensitive to salt, which is one reason why high blood pressure becomes more common. A diet rich in potassium is a key recommendation from the American Heart Association for this very reason. My mother's doctor explained it to her with a wonderful analogy. He said to think of it like a seesaw. She started paying attention to potassium on food labels and was delighted to learn that the skim milk she was already drinking for the calcium was also helping her in her goal to keep her blood pressure in a healthy range. So your action step for finding a heart helper milk is to look for 2 things on the label. First, look for low saturated fat. 1% of your daily value or less is a great target. Second, look for a good source of potassium. Aim for 8% of your daily value or higher. Skim milk, 1% milk, soy milk, and pea milk are all excellent contenders that check both of these boxes. Of course, it's very important to mention that if you are currently taking medication for high blood pressure or have any form of kidney disease, you should talk with your doctor before making significant changes to your potassium intake. For most people, it's highly beneficial, but in certain medical situations, it needs to be carefully monitored. Supporting our heart is fundamental. But what about the framework that holds us all together and allows us to stay active and engaged with the world? Our muscles. That brings us to the powerhouse milks at number 4. Coming in at number 4, we're doubling down on a topic we touched on earlier because it is just that important. Choosing the muscle maintainer milks. These are the undisputed, high-protein champions of the milk aisle. Let's revisit sarcopenia for a moment. This age-related muscle loss is the primary reason why many older adults can lose their independence, as it directly leads to an increased risk of frailty, debilitating falls, and bone fractures. The science is clear that fighting back requires a 2-pronged attack: resistance exercise to stimulate the muscles and adequate protein to fuel their repair and growth. I spoke with a physical therapist who works exclusively with seniors, and she put it perfectly. She told me, "I can give my clients all the right exercises, but if they go home and don't fuel their bodies with enough protein, it's like trying to build a brick wall without any mortar. The muscles simply can't repair and grow stronger." She actively recommends high-protein milks to her clients as an easy and effective way to get that mortar into their diet. So it's time to meet the champions. First, there's ultra-filtered dairy milk, sold under brand names like Fairlife. Then there's soy milk. And finally, there's the powerful newcomer, pea milk. Your action step is to seek out these specific types of milk if maintaining your strength, energy, and independence is a top priority for you. Look for ultra-filtered soy or pea milk on your next shopping trip. A quick note: while a high-protein diet is beneficial for most older adults, if you have been diagnosed with chronic kidney disease, CKD, your doctor may have put you on a protein-restricted diet. In that specific case, you must follow your doctor's orders regarding your protein intake. Building muscle is key to staying active, but even our most basic bodily functions rely on something we often take for granted: That brings us to a surprising but vital recommendation at number 3. At number 3, we have a surprising one that might just change how you think about quenching your thirst. The better-than-water hydrators. We all know we need to drink water, but it turns out that some milks can pull double duty, hydrating you while also nourishing you. Here's why this is so important for us. As we get older, our body's natural thirst mechanism can become less sensitive. We simply don't feel thirsty as often, even when our body needs fluid, putting us at a much higher risk for dehydration. Dehydration is a very common cause of hospitalization in seniors and can lead to a cascade of problems, including fatigue, confusion, dizziness, and even joint pain. Now here is the fascinating part. The National Institute on Aging and the USDA's MyPlate program have a specific recommendation that often surprises people. They suggest that fluids like low-fat or fat-free milk and fortified soy beverages are excellent choices for hydration. Why? Because not only do they provide the fluid your body desperately needs, but they deliver it alongside a payload of those essential nutrients we've been talking about: high-quality protein, bone-building calcium, heart-healthy potassium, and essential vitamins, all at the same time. It's hydration with a purpose. My friend's mother, Helen, who is in her late 80s, is a perfect example. Her doctor was always encouraging her to drink more water, but she found it boring and would often forget. Her daughter had a brilliant idea. She started making Helen a small smoothie every afternoon with fortified soy milk, a few berries, and a little bit of spinach. To Helen, it tasted like a delicious treat she looked forward to. But in reality, it was a clever way to get her hydrated and sneak in extra protein, calcium, and vitamins. It completely changed the game for her daily nutrition. Your action step is to rethink what hydration can look like. It doesn't have to be 8 glasses of plain water. A tall glass of cold skim milk after a walk, or a latte made with fortified soy milk, can be a fantastic and far more nutritious way to meet your daily fluid needs. Of course, these nutrient-dense drinks shouldn't completely replace water, which is still essential. And it's important to stick to the unsweetened, low-fat versions, as sugary drinks are not good for hydration. If you're ever experiencing signs of severe dehydration, like extreme dizziness, a very dry mouth, or confusion, that is a medical issue that requires immediate attention. Hydrating with nutrients is a brilliant strategy, but there is one nutritional partnership that stands above all others when it comes to healthy aging. That brings us to the undisputed champions at number 2. We've reached number 2, and this is the classic, the one we all associate with milk, but we're going to look at it today with fresh, modern eyes. The Bone Builder Champions. This is all about the powerful and absolutely essential synergy between calcium and vitamin D. Osteoporosis is often called a silent disease because it weakens our bones over many years without any symptoms, until a fall or minor bump causes a fracture. A fall that might have just caused a bruise at age 30 can lead to a life-altering hip fracture at age 70. The statistics are sobering. Osteoporosis affects about 1 in 5 women and 1 in 20 men over the age of 50. To build and maintain strong bones, our bodies need a steady supply of calcium. But as we've discussed, calcium cannot do its job alone. It needs its essential partner, vitamin D, to be properly absorbed. This dynamic duo, calcium plus vitamin D, is the absolute gold standard for bone health. Think of your bones like a bank account. After about age 30, and especially after menopause for women, our bodies naturally start making more withdrawals than deposits. If you don't keep making new deposits through your diet, your account can run low, and that condition is osteoporosis. A friend of mine, a retired teacher, calls her daily glass of fortified milk her bone deposit. Your mission, then, is to find the milk that gives you the biggest bang for your buck on these two critical nutrients. This is where you have to read the labels. Fortified plant-based milks can be absolute superstars here. Some brands of almond, soy, or pea milk are fortified to provide up to 45% of your daily calcium and 20 to 30% of your vitamin D in a single cup. Dairy milk is also a fantastic choice, naturally providing about 25 to 30% of your calcium, and then typically fortified with 15 to 25% of your vitamin D. The winner is whichever fortified milk you enjoy the most and will drink consistently. If you have already been diagnosed with osteoporosis, your doctor has likely prescribed medication in addition to recommending diet and exercise. It is vital to follow their full treatment plan. Your milk choice is a powerful support to that plan, not a replacement for it. Choosing a milk that is a champion for your bones is one of the most powerful things you can do for your long-term health and mobility. And that brings us to our number one factor, the one that ties everything together and puts you in control. And here we are. After counting down all the traps to avoid and the champions to seek out, the number one most important factor when choosing a milk after 60 is what I call the personalized prescription. It's the profound understanding that the best milk in the entire store is the one that is best for you. We've spent the last 20 minutes breaking down all the different factors: protein for muscle, calcium and D for bones, potassium for your heart, avoiding sugar, and navigating lactose. The ultimate truth that emerges is that there is no single best milk for all 70 million seniors in America. The best milk is the one that aligns perfectly with your unique body, your health history, and your personal goals. You are the chief executive of your own health. This final step is about taking everything we've learned and creating a simple, personalized checklist for yourself. First, meet Robert. He's 72, and his main goal is to maintain his strength so he can keep up with his grandkids and enjoy his weekly golf game. His personalized prescription points him directly toward a high-protein milk. He should be reaching for an ultra-filtered dairy milk, a pea milk, or a soy milk. Next, meet Patricia. She's 68, and her doctor just told her she has osteopenia, the precursor to osteoporosis. Her number one priority is bone health. Her personalized prescription tells her to scan the labels and find the milk with the highest percentage of calcium and vitamin D she can find, whether that's a heavily fortified plant milk or a fortified dairy milk. Finally, meet David. He's 65, he's managing high blood pressure, and he's found that regular dairy gives him an upset stomach. His personalized prescription is a lactose-free heart helper. He's looking for a fortified soy or pea milk which is naturally lactose-free, low in saturated fat, and a good source of potassium. Do you see how that works? It's not about what's trendy or what your neighbor buys. It's about being strategic for your own body. Here is your final and most important action step. Before your next grocery trip, take a moment and ask yourself this one simple question. What is my number one health goal right now? Is it strength and muscle? Then your priority is protein, factor number 4. Is it bone density? Then your priority is calcium and vitamin D, factor number 2. Is it heart health? Then your priority is low saturated fat and high potassium, factor number 5. Is it better digestion? Then your priority is finding a lactose-free option, factor number 6. Once you know your top priority, you can use the knowledge from our countdown to scan the labels and find your perfect match with total confidence. The only red flag here is not listening to your own body and your doctor's advice. You're the expert on you. Use this information to ask better questions and make more empowered choices in partnership with your healthcare team. By personalizing your choice, you turn a simple trip to the grocery store into a powerful act of self-care. So as we've seen today, navigating that crowded milk aisle isn't about finding one secret magic bullet. It's about making a series of small, intelligent choices that add up to a big impact on your health. It's about understanding that what you pour into your coffee or over your cereal every morning can be a deliberate act of self-care that supports your strength, your bones, and your vitality for the long run. The most important message I want you to leave with is this: you are in the driver's seat of your own health. You have the power, and now the knowledge, to make choices that will dramatically improve your quality of life. Don't let anyone tell you that feeling weaker or more fragile is just how it is. You have tools at your disposal, and choosing the right milk is a simple but powerful one. Now, I would love to hear from you. Which of these 10 factors was the biggest aha moment for you? Was it the focus on protein for fighting muscle loss? Or perhaps the importance of fortification in plant milks? Let me know in the comments section below. I truly enjoy reading your stories and insights, and it helps our whole community learn from each other. And finally, if you enjoyed this deep dive and you want more practical, no-nonsense content to help you live a healthier, more vibrant life after 60, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the little notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Here's to your health, your strength, and your independence. I'll see you in the next video.